Welcome to Vibrant Life, episode 16. My name is Jessica Parker. I am a holistic health coach with a master's in health psychology, and I'm a fitness instructor. So we're going to chat about magnesium today. We talked about electrolytes in general last time, and I think it's been a few days. I've had a lot going on in my household, which actually is appropriate for today's topic because of the stress. There have been a couple of accidents that have occurred, and my cat is still fighting to recover. He actually, we believe, was hit by a car, and after a couple of weeks of dealing with a broken leg and trying to get his body to calm down enough to where he could have surgery, they amputated his leg, and it has been a week today, and he's back at the vet clinic tonight. We were afraid his kidneys were quitting again, but no, he was just dehydrated, we think because of one of the medications, which that's a whole game trying to figure that out, the pain management. So I'm a little tired and I've been taking extra electrolytes. So let's dive in. So magnesium is so, I think, undervalued. And I think that it can be very, very confusing because there are actually a lot of different kinds of magnesium. So Dr. Will Cole said it best. He says, we function best when magnesium in our body is at its optimal level. And I can absolutely agree from a personal perspective and feeling the difference. There are certain key elements that we need in our bodies that our bodies do not make on their own. Therefore, we must take care of that via diet and supplementation. And magnesium is one of those elements, and it's an extremely important one at that. So the National Institute of Health says that magnesium is the fourth most common mineral in the human body after calcium, sodium, and potassium. And it's the second most common intracellular cation, which means positively charged ion after potassium. It is an essential element required as a cofactor, now listen to this, for over 300 enzymatic reactions. And thus it's necessary for the biochemical functioning of numerous metabolic pathways. So you might be thinking, okay, I'm listening to Charlie Brown's Teacher right now. Wah, 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 wah. What does that even mean? But I just want to say over 300 enzymatic reactions. So that's just that's at a cellular level, what your body needs to do these 300 different reactions in your body. So that at least needs to be telling you, okay, let's bold that and highlight it like it's super important. Inadequate magnesium status may impair biochemical processes dependent on sufficiency of this element. So with that being said, most of us are deficient. In fact, the NIH also says emerging evidence confirms that nearly 2/3 of the population, 2/3, that's a lot, in the Western world is not achieving the recommended daily allowance for magnesium, a deficiency problem contributing to various health conditions. So I will also say that in my humble opinion, and I think many practitioners would agree with me, the daily recommended allowance is not really up to par. It's, something that was created years and years ago, and I would absolutely argue that that needs an overhaul. So I would say that this actually, all of this is kind of downplayed, not on purpose, but it just is, because things need to be researched and reformulated. So why are we low in magnesium? And you guys, I know if you look up, okay, how do I get magnesium in my body? There's going to be lists of food. Well, part of the problem is that our soil is depleted nowadays. There's just so much over agriculture going on, and then all the pesticides and things like that. And guess what? We need animal poop in our soil. That's for a whole nother Dr. Phil show, but we need animal poop to help regenerate that soil and keep those minerals and keep it we need the soil to be nutrient dense in order for our food to be nutrient dense in order for us to have those nutrients. And that's just not happening. So therefore, we're not getting it a bowl of broccoli now versus when my grandparents were my age and had a bowl of broccoli is going to be completely different nutrient wise. And so that's also really difficult because you'll look at certain recommendations and it'll tell you, eat this, eat that, eat a cup of this, eat a cup of that, and you're going to get this much magnesium or potassium or whatever it might be. And that's probably not true, like at all. So that is one huge reason that we are magnesium deficient, but also we are over toxic and we are over stressed. So things, toxins stress our body, and so many other things stress our body. So toxins make it so our bodies burn through electrolytes much faster as our bodies are trying to get rid of that. And then stress does the same thing. Sugar and processed foods make our bodies burn through magnesium, electrolytes in general, but we're talking about magnesium. Lack of sleep, being too plugged in. So all these electronics that I'm currently looking at, that is a stress on your body. Gut dysregulation. So having leaky gut, leaky gut is one thing, but then also just having gut dysbiosis, like basically with your gut microbiome, that being off, too much bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria, diet, stress for one, like ding, 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 I already mentioned that. But, you know, stress comes in the form of mental, physical, and then chemical. So all these things that we're talking about, it's not just, you know, like you hate your job or, you know, whatever. It's not just an emotional thing. It can also be like you got in an accident. And so your body is going through a lot of stress, trying to heal, or it can be, you know, like I said, lack of sleep. That's a stress on your body. This next one is a stress on your body. Not getting enough exercise is a stress on your body, and exercise helps your body process through toxins as well. You guys see how these are all like very interrelated. But too much exercise is also a big stress. Exercise in general is a stress. Stress can be good at certain levels and certain types of stress. When you go overboard, then that sends your body backwards in a lot of ways. Too much alcohol, and then medication is also another one that makes you burn through magnesium and electrolytes in general. So little side note, I have talked to some people who have been, quote, sauced. That's my code word for, you know, getting the thing right now that's very controversial. And there have been some people I've talked to who have been experiencing like headaches and not feeling well and things like that. And that's the very first thing in my mind. I'm thinking you need to replenish your electrolytes. And I've definitely had several people say that helped. So if you recently got sauced, if you know what I mean, in the arm, and you're not feeling well, please do that. Go for it. So, let's talk about signs that you are, or what magnesium is responsible for, which is also like signs. You can kind of like put those together. So magnesium, again, is responsible for over 300 enzyme systems that regulate diverse biochemical reactions. But what does that mean? So protein synthesis, muscle and nerve function, blood glucose control, blood pressure regulation. Magnesium is required for energy production, ATP, oxidative phosphorylation, and glycolysis. It contributes to the structure development of bone and is required for the synthesis of DNA, RNA, and the antioxidant, can't speak apparently, glutathione. So glutathione helps your body in its natural detox process. So if you're low on glutathione, then your body is going to have a hard time detoxing. Again, do you see how this is all interrelated? And it also plays an active role in the transport of calcium and potassium ions across cell membranes. So like I had a doctor once tell me I was low on potassium. That's something I know that I struggle with. And she said, you have to be getting enough magnesium in order to have potassium like absorbed well and utilized well, and this is exactly why. So it all goes together, and we will be talking about potassium next time because that's another very important one, but it's also very different in how you handle it, for sure. So having to do with the calcium and potassium, magnesium is involved in the process that's important to nerve impulse conduction, muscle contraction, and normal heart rhythm. So, you know, you obviously think about like cramping, you know, muscle cramps, but also some of you may have heard me say before, or if you know me, you've probably heard me talk about like, you know, if you're feeling like heart palpitations or things like that, like that's a sign that I personally have if I'm low potassium. But again, that is related to magnesium as well. Don't let your mind get all boggled. I know it can be confusing. So speaking of confusing, it can be difficult because magnesium is one of those things that your body really stores in tissues and bone and within the cell. And so if you're taking a blood test, you're not going to be getting an accurate read of what is actually in your cells and your tissues and your bone. You're not going to know. SpectraCell is one that I know of that actually measures what is within the cell, but I'm not saying that's gold standard. I'm just saying in general, it's a far more accurate tool in terms of labs to figure out what's going on in there. But what often happens is a doctor will measure your serum level magnesium and it'll be like, oh, you're fine, or oh, you're actually high. And your body will compensate in a weird way. Magnesium inside the cell goes down. The body will overcompensate for that, and the serum magnesium, so the magnesium in your blood will go up. And so you might have a high reading, and that will indicate that you're low, or could very well indicate that you're low. So it's really best to go based off of, you know, you can use labs, but also your symptoms. And one way that you can tell is how your body reacts when you have magnesium. That can be a good indicator. So there are different kinds of magnesium. The first thing I'm going to say is magnesium oxide, just don't do it. Don't go for magnesium oxide because it's basically just you're flushing it down the toilet. About 4% of it is absorbed into your body. So like, why bother, essentially? If you're super constipated, that's a great one because your body's just going to like flush it out along with water. But in general, I just avoid it. Now, the sad thing is if you go to the store and you pick up a bottle of magnesium or like some kind of multivitamin and you look at the back, you will like very often see magnesium oxide because it's cheap, right? That's how it goes. So in fact, I hear this all the time. Oh, I have magnesium. Let me go look in my cupboard. And somebody looks, oh, it's magnesium oxide. Like that's pretty much what always happens. So don't even waste your money. Another kind is citrate. That's something that like a lot of my clients love. Natural Calm is a brand that I really like, and you can get it in a powder form, or you can get it, like they have little gummies, they have capsules, like there's all sorts of different forms. I get it personally from Daily Energy, which I'm in Albany, Oregon, and that's, I like to support local. So if you have a local vitamin and supplement store, go support them. If he doesn't have something that I need, then I go to Natural Grocers because they have a wide variety. They don't carry crap, and they have people on staff that know what they're talking about. I've had really good experiences with the communication I've had with staff there. So citrate is great. It's great for kids. Actually, my son, we get the gummies and he takes them at night. And that one is good for constipation as well. It's far more absorbed by your body than oxide, but that's one where if you're feeling constipated, take more of it. Take more citrate and it'll help you. Constipation is something that goes along with like thyroid stuff. Like if you're constipated a lot, you guys, like there's stuff going on. You shouldn't be. You should be going at least once a day. And I feel like we should have an episode on that. But that's one way that toxins are released from your body. And so it's very important that you're going regularly. So magnesium is a great one for that. Please don't go take those things that they prescribe to you. There's a lot of different side effects. And especially if you're taking it long-term, you can have long-term side effects later on. So magnesium is my go-to for that. I'll just mention 3 others. Malate is a great one. I personally find that it's really good for muscle recovery. I've experienced that myself. Like if I'm just like working out really hard, then that's one that I love to go for. Glycinate is another one that's very, very absorbable. And threonate is one that actually crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's a good one for like brain stuff. It's a good one if you're experiencing anxiety and depression. It's a good one if you're having headaches and migraines. Low magnesium is a huge, 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 huge one for headaches and migraines. So, and I know those two are different. I used to have migraines as a kid, and I know like having a headache is so much different than having a migraine. I will never forget that kind of pain that I was in, and then throwing up. So, and little side note, there's so many little ideas for shows I have, but when I was a kid and I had migraines, I actually also went and had my neck adjusted. So your upper cervical spine is your C1 and C2, and I had mine adjusted, and I've never ever had a migraine since, ever. So and I really don't even get headaches. Every once in a while I might get a little tension or whatever, and I usually can take care of that with electrolytes. Ding ding, imagine that. All right, so last thing that I will say is that you can also get blends of magnesium. If you are experiencing something in particular, like headaches, I would definitely go for something like threonate. But if you're just maybe several things resonate with you, I would definitely encourage you to do a blend, because really, they really can target different things. Oh, and sleep. Magnesium is wonderful to help you sleep. It's known as like the relaxing mineral. And so that's a great one for sleep. I like to take a bath with Epsom salt in it after I teach PIO. And so like a good 2 cups of it, no less than 20 minutes in the bath, and your body is absorbing magnesium in your body. Now, you might say, well, how much magnesium should I have? Magnesium is one of those things where you're not going to go over to the point of it being dangerous unless you go so far over this, like not even possible. Like you're not going to do that. So typically, like, you'll have a supplement that like the serving size is like 400 milligrams. You can go over that for sure. So if you go to the point where you're having loose stools, back it off a little bit, unless you're constipated and you need help in that department. But one thing that I have heard, in fact, Dave Asprey talks about this on his podcast Bulletproof, which is an awesome one to check out if you love to nerd out on all things health. They talk about doing something to where you go up in your magnesium to the point of where you are having loose stools, and then you back it down. And so you're like knowing where your body is in that place of, okay, this is where I need to be. So basically, if you have like 1,000 milligrams and then you start having diarrhea, then it's your body saying, this is how much I need. Like I need just under 1,000 milligrams. So you back it off, and it might be 800. And if you have 800 and your digestive system is fine, then maybe that's where you need to be. And you can go over that even. In fact, ladies, if you have like some monthly stuff going on, go up in your magnesium. I do it and it totally helps. And there was one other thing I was going to say about that, about going up in your magnesium. And again, I mentioned depression and anxiety. There are so many different things. Oh, blood sugar, which I kind of mentioned it quickly, but it can definitely help control your blood sugar. There are studies on this, absolutely. So basically, if you are a human being, you should be paying attention to your magnesium, and most likely you should be supplementing. It's just way too hard to get it with food. So, and then again, all those things that we have on the opposite end, kind of taking away from it, that's just the world we live in. And so we have to pay attention to that. And I'm so thankful that we have these resources to where we can take care of that and balance it out. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. And next time we will be talking about potassium. I hope you all had a great 4th of July, and I'll chat with you later. Oh, and you can find me at thatvibrantlife.com. Facebook is Health with Jess. Instagram is Health with Jessica. This podcast is actually sponsored by my family owned and operated meat business, pasture-raised meat business. We sell grass-fed and finished beef, pasture-raised chicken and pork, and we ship it frozen to your door. We ship to several states, so if you're interested, check out our FAQs on oregonvalleyfarm.com to see if we ship to you. But if you're local to us and want to save on shipping, we also do offer local pickup. So no antibiotics, no added hormones. I'm picky about all that stuff, right? I mean, that's what I do. All right, have an awesome evening, and we will chat with you.